Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Talkin' Town. I'm joined by my constant co-hosts, Steven and Michael. Steven, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well. Yeah, just being antsy with football season around the corner, so that's kind
Mm.
of that's where I'm like, I want it to be here already. So
Little known fact that when I found the name of this, like our podcast, there was a Talking Town podcast. Not as cool as our name, but it was based upon, I think it was actual like European soccer. So I just think of, or European football, I should say, uh, a football channel. So you're almost there.
I saw that when I looked it up on YouTube way back when.
Hmm.
They're just 1G less cool than us.
Yes. Yes. Michael, how's
they're
your
another
day
G.
been?
It's been good. I alternatively am a G and
Oh.
have been having a pretty good day. Almost said J.
Mm.
I don't know, man. I'm hungry, but that's kind of like my life. It seems just
Mm.
passively. Outside of that, I've been working on the Swimetasat site. I've been playing World of Warcraft, getting back into the new season.
Wow. I didn't know you were a WoW
Um,
head. Okay.
oh my god, yeah, huge wowhead. I don't get like I only get to play like a couple hours a week or whatever at
Yeah.
this point. But
That's adulting.
um, yeah, exactly. But I used to play constantly. Like I ran a private server at one point.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
I've played every expansion. I've got on the leaderboard and twos.
Wow.
Bunch of stuff. Yeah. So I don't know. I have a whole group of friends that are from all over the country. Or yeah, well, I was going to say country, but also Canada that play. We all know each other in person, but we all live separately.
Hmm.
So we all play together.
See, we almost lost Steven to League this week too. So the the addictions are coming out strong, and man, oh
I
man,
kicked my league addiction.
that's
When I realized that I wanted to off myself every time I played a ranked game, that was about where I put
mm,
it down.
yeah, League
See,
is
thankfully, it's not an addiction anymore. It like I really don't play that much, but if like the friends are around and we're playing, yeah, it's fine. Like I haven't played.
yeah.
I think I've played one game of ranked in like the last 6 months, something like that. So you know.
League as a
What
game
lane
of
and what champion?
oh, fair, good point.
I'm an ADC player.
Of course you
What
are.
champion? I don't know. Whatever's
Is
meta, I
good.
guess.
Okay.
I
Nice.
I'm that player that will play pretty much any ADC champ. That's probably part of the interest that I'm back in it is they started doing fearless draft. Which if you don't know, like for competitive League of Legends, when you did your best of series, you just had the entire champion pool, but in Fearless Draft, once a champion has been picked by either team, you cannot play it the rest of the series. So you actually have to expand your champion pool.
Oh, that's
Um,
cool.
Yeah.
so I've kind of yeah,
Would
it's kind of
that would
like
not work for me.
yeah. So like that's why I like it because I started playing like 2012 and then played like semi amateurly until probably like 2023, maybe some point in 2024. And then yeah, I
Mm,
just played so long, so I just know how to play like 95% of the ADCs.
that's fair.
Love it.
Yeah, Michael, what was your League role in champion?
Jungle, Lee Sin.
All right. You like to insect people.
Much Lee, yes.
Yeah.
And
The
outside of Lee Sin, it was I was a jungle player or top lane player typically.
hmm.
Um,
And
so Lee Sin, Kha'Zix, Rengar.
okay. What
Yeah.
champion was on the main screen when you started the game?
When I started the game, what was
Yeah.
the champion that
Yeah, this is
I
always my age determiner here.
I think it was Ezreal.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Mm.
I
See, I
had
think mine was
Lulu.
like I'm trying to remember. Mine, I feel like was either Kha'Zix, Elise, or Zed.
Oh,
They were
those
all in a similar time frame.
yeah, all three of those were awful release times. every one of those champions was terrifying at their release.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Oh,
I don't think it was Zed. It definitely couldn't have been Zed. I think it was Kha'Zix. It might have been Kha'Zix.
okay. That is low key. Like if I were to start the League of Legends or Wild Rift, Riftbound. We'll get there. That would probably be one of the champions that I would just like. I would only play that deck. Kha'Zix is by far the coolest. I think champion they've ever made. So.
Well, yeah, it's really, really fun to remove somebody from existence in 2 buttons and then just leave.
Yeah. And
but
then
if you don't
bounce in, bounce out.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know if you guys know, but we're a League of Legends podcast now.
Yes. Oh no. It's all coming back. Yeah, we'll
By the way, I got that in order. The release order at that period was Kha'Zix, Elise, Zed in that order.
Wow.
No shit, really.
Really?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
That's crazy. I thought Zed was before both of those. Okay,
No.
okay. We're like that was like 15 years ago almost now. Okay.
That was 13 years ago. Chill.
We're spoiling.
All right.
Okay.
We're
You're
approaching
right.
13 years in next month.
We have a middle schooler.
Oh god.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, season 1 of League was in 2010, which I played.
Yep.
Yeah. I started shortly after season 2 Worlds finished.
Same. I guess I was before season 2 Worlds ended because Lulu. But I remember watching.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I could go for this podcast is not
well,
long. We said this was going to be a shorter one this week.
To the topics at hand, which Adam, the topics at hand.
Yes, we had some awesome new Omaha Alliance content come out this week from Laura and Larsen. They made a new series called Ahead of the Curve. That's basically doing a kind of introductory steps into someone as if they were like walking into a new trading card game. It's been already super awesome. They're getting incredible reviews, good views just in general, and the content itself is great. They do a bunch of slideshows to kind of walk you through their explanations about, at least so far, all they've covered is, the different kinds of decks within archetypes and some of the leaders affiliated with those. Check it out. A video. This is being recorded on Tuesday. We just had that video drop what would be yesterday for you guys because this video comes out on Wednesday. And I don't know if that's their regular release schedule, but as the videos come out, we'll obviously send you over to that way, hopefully. Go check them out. Say hi. Leave a nice comment. They're working really hard to get this stuff for you guys. And, we talk here, just kind of chill. But they're trying to bring as much information as they can as people who were also new to trading card games.
They're putting a lot of work into their content, into their content. It's very structured.
Having Laura on last week was just like, she was just excited to get it out to everybody and to see that it's doing well. And same with Larsen. It's like they should both be over the moon about it. We are at time of recording this video 99 subscribers. So if you are checking this out right now, drop a like, hit that subscribe button, please. I'm going to point at Steven. There you go. Steven needs to subscribe, I think.
I've already subscribed.
Oh, good. Just making sure.
Need proof?
Yeah, well, this is a Mr. Beast video now.
Oh,
your phone.
Yeah. But yeah, the response that they've gotten for that, for their Ahead of the Curve, like even just their like introductory video is popped off. I mean, comparatively
really good. Yeah.
to where we're at. So good for them. And they're even just 7 hours in for their first episode is on pace to do really well.
Yeah,
so.
they're killing it. And I would go so far as to say that they're ahead of the curve.
Ooh.
If you will.
Their thumbnails.
Can you segue me out of that shit, please?
Yeah. We're gonna take you to your week 4 meta snapshot now with that notice. Make sure I get the
with that
killer
humor.
All right, guys. So as always, since we're in the middle of PQ season, we are doing some reviews about what's going on in the current world of Star Wars Unlimited. This is SWU Metastats, found by our lovely Michael here. We are going to do some reviews about what's kind of going on. Last week, these bozos predicted that Han 2 Blue would come back, which he did. In kind of a storm, really. He walked out with 4 wins, taking 4 of these 5 Vigilance 20 HP Force base wins. So we also had Anakin walk in with one.
Mm-hmm. Although that Anakin deck is like hardly a Force deck, to be fair.
That's fair. I haven't actually taken the chance to look at the list. We can scroll through that here in a little bit.
It's cool. It's a cool list.
Was there anything else surprising about this week's results to you guys?
Yeah, Boba Fett Command 30. Winning a PQ seems pretty dope. And then another Kira, so that's warms my heart. You know, my all the just right there, right in the chest.
The only one that surprised me was the Poe Data Vault.
Yeah, another Poe. This one, I think he's at 2 wins. He's gotten some decent amount of top 8s, but like it's either Data Vault or it's Conversion Lab. There's no,
Yeah. Well, I will say this sneak preview. One of the next things I'm working on for the site is user submitted deck lists so that people can fill out missing deck lists. But then after that, it will be a meta overview where we'll look at all the leaders, see how many wins they have, top 8s, placements, popular cards, and everything like that. So we'll be able to answer that question.
Trying to get like a fully encompassed aggregated view of all the data.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
Let's see what else we got for this week. We had 3 Sabines, which were, I'm assuming, all on ECL. 2 Boba Fett's. So 1 coming out on Data Vault and 1 coming out on the Command 30, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yep, correct.
Okay.
The 1 out of 2 decks played.
Fair. We had Quinlan, Kylo, and Cad making up the 3 of our Tarkin towns. Palp, I'm pretty sure he was the Cunning, because that's his 3rd win.
Yeah, he was.
And then the Data Vaults are Poe, Kira, and the Boba Fett. All right, I'm just trying to get all the breakdowns of the leaders to match the bases.
Yeah, for sure.
It's super handy. That Command 30 is still very interesting to me, because you and I were just talking about some other leaders that could benefit from that style of
I agree.
Base.
The more I think about it, I'm curious your guys' take on this, and then I actually want to go look at top 8 too, because there's some really interesting comparison stats. But before that, let me ask you this: I have been thinking more and more that the 3 health from Data Vault is feeling less impactful than it originally did compared to 30. The more I play 30 of whatever, it seems less impactful than it did last set for whatever reason. What do you guys think?
I think it depends on kind of what you're playing against completely to me. I think into the Tarkin Town decks, you're wanting more they're wanting more units to just try and run you down usually. That 3 HP itself seems to still matter a bit to me. I haven't fully converted off of Data Vault from Kylo, but I don't know. How do you feel, Steven? I don't know if you've
I mean, I think it definitely depends on what the deck is or what deck you're playing against. So if for example you're playing against a Kylo Tarkin town, I think in that case it very much so matters, more so than a lot of other places. But if you're playing against your generic space deck or your generic Sabine, I do think it matters less. And I think the reason for that is I think it's just become normalized. So people have just kind of subconsciously gotten into the rhythm of where they need to be. And so that's just where it is. So now, like on the other hand, I almost knocked over my drink. On the other hand, if you like look at Colossus, for example, like if you're playing Colossus, I think that is very, very difficult to deal with. But like in a lot of those Colossus matchups, like you're so close, like you get so close, but then you can only get them to like 33 is the max that you can get them. Or you
Yeah.
maybe occasionally get them to 34, and then they just stabilize. You can't get anything on board to attack them with, and then they just win. So I think a lot of it is just I think people have just become accustomed to Data Vault to an extent. They
I
just
think
know the
that's
play
true.
patterns more, and so that 3 extra health is just less meaningful. Not saying that it
I,
isn't meaningful, but less so.
I would agree with that. And I also think that I find for myself, I can only really speak for myself, but my hypothesis is that people like the extra 10 cards because it feels very good to be able to have those extra 10 cards for tools. Like I played Kylo 5, the new Kylo, as 30 a bunch, and then as Data Vault a bunch, and was comparing, and having the extra cards in Data Vault made me feel so much more comfortable. But I noticed that I didn't actually have a better, like the deck didn't perform better. I just felt better.
You feel like you're just loaded up with 10 extra powerhouses. Like
Yeah, I was
it's
like,
just like,
cool,
all
I get to
right,
play
yeah.
my third No Glory. I get to play 3 Vigilance in the main board. I get to, play whatever. I can put in a Rival's Fall in the main board. But then, like, when I was on 30, I was just seeing ramp every game guaranteed almost. I was seeing Power the Dark Side every game. Like it felt way more consistent just cycling through cards. So I don't know. It's an interesting thing.
I
And
think
and I think that's a testament to like even last format before Legends is like people started playing Data Vault because they're like, guys, I don't think you realize how much that 3 HP is worth it. And it's like, sure, it was beneficial in that circumstance, but the reason that Data Vault also was just so good was because it's like the quote unquote detriment that you were getting was actually the more beneficial thing to play
Mhm.
to it's like, oh,
yeah.
I get a little benefit against aggro, and then I just win all these other like mid-range grindy
Grindy
matchups.
games, yeah.
Yeah.
And it was
It,
so grindy in JTL.
Yep.
and Data Vault will always be like the king of the control mirror, just because that extra
Yeah,
10 cards will out vigilance your opponent.
Yep.
right.
So it's key there. Whereas we're not seeing that nearly as much as we did before, which is kind of nice because that meta got a little like kind of too heavy on Data Vault.
I
But
would
yeah,
agree with you. Yeah. I
I,
like where Data Vault's at right now, where it's like played, but it isn't required anymore. It's not like you
yeah,
just throw every leader with Data Vault.
I think one of the elements of that too is like previously last set it was like widely considered that guess what? Data Vault is just the best base, and you're just if you're not playing Data Vault, you're just playing a worse deck. I don't
Yeah.
think that's the sentiment currently because there's like so much other stuff going on in the meta, and I think Data Vault is also well, not just Data Vault, but like a lot of the colors that you play into these Data Vault decks are a little bit more controlling, and so they're going to be a little bit harder uh, to play generically game to game because of consistency, and you have to make the right decision on all the when resourcing on every turn, and because it's not considered the quote unquote best deck, you have a lot of players that are just going to stay away from that because they don't want to draw because they're just not top tier with the deck, and then they don't feel punished for not playing Data Vault.
mm. I would.
I would agree.
It's that kind of thing. I know you mentioned it last week, Steven. It's like, are the best players playing these decks? And I've been thinking about that a lot lately. At least this last week, because like you can see on here, there's no pilots. I guess there's Poe Dameron. Okay.
Well, Boba.
And Boba, yeah.
Boba. It's not that I don't count him as a pilot because he's obviously better deployed as a pilot, but man, does he present still a whole body that is hard to deal with on 6 resources, even on the ground. So, like,
Yeah, that's a good point. He doesn't play like a pilot deck
yeah, I
in the
think
same way that
The
like
identity
Luke
doesn't
Pilot
revolve
does or
around them being a
something.
pilot.
Yeah.
yes,
Right,
yeah,
right. They can, yeah, they are a pilot. There's, they're a space deck, but they're playing on a different axis than Poe.
hmm Yep.
Yeah,
And
no, I definitely see what you're saying.
when I put my Vader on the ground, I feel like I'm losing this game. When I put a Boba Fett on the ground, I'm presenting
Yeah.
two threats.
Well,
So
that's because when you put your Vader on the ground, you are losing that game.
usually, yeah.
Yeah. Most of the time.
I've been in a very Tarkin Town mood lately. So like I've been playing a lot of Kylo, a little bit of Quinlan, and then just kind of I even revisited old set 1 Vader just because it was sounded fun to play with Tarkin Town. And especially in a pilot heavy meta, if I can deal with their turn 1 play and then their turn 2 play and then their turn, it's pretty easy to run that back and forth. But to the testament of your data vault, like what you said, the 3 HP, it also comes down to how much is Tarkin Town worth for 1 action and, how much damage it deals. It's like you're already paying 5 HP less to remove 1 unit, basically. It's kind of like what you're doing. So, how much does that damage over the course of the next 3 turns? What does that save you? So, Data Vault's always weird because it's the polar opposite to Tarkin Town to me, or at least like they exist together so well that as long as decks in the card pool doesn't favor one or the other, they should be in tandem. But sorry, I just had a tangent. What were you saying, Michael?
You're good. Vader. Yeah, Vader Tarkin Town. I agree with you. I think that's probably not a bad deck at the moment, actually.
He's been a lot of fun.
I remember, what was it? I think at some point during this set, like early on in preparation for Worlds, well, not really preparation for Worlds. It was before the set actually came out. I was playing around with like the Vader Force deck and Tarkin Town, and because I was just like, well, part of it was, I'd love to be able to play a Vader deck where I could use the showcase.
Yeah.
And so I really wanted to try and do that. And like, there were certain things that felt really good, but I mean, man, as soon as you get disrupted, it just feels like you just fall flat.
You are still a 7 deploy leader, and it shows. With Kylo exists out here deploying on at like, this last week I deployed to be like a N11 several times, 10 13s with like raid 2 and 1 damage to everything, and then Vader just does the same thing but not.
Yeah, he just flips as a 5/8 and does 2 damage to something, and Kylo flips, deletes 2 things, and is a 10/10.
Now.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's very fragile in a meta where, we have so much removal. But
God, how bad would it feel to flip your Vader and you're like, hell yeah, I am, your Vader, like he's badass, force throw crate dragon, you just walk away and lose the game.
Yeah. That Rivals Fall, Power of the Dark Side, all of the above. Yeah, that was a question I had near at the end of this. I was going to bug you guys because I've been thinking about it a lot lately as well. Is like, what does rotation look like in 6 months? And obviously, we're missing obviously 2 sets worth of cards, but like we can clearly see certain things are starting to replace the other ones. But with all that said, we can at least remember to look through what we have here for right now. You guys predicted it right. Han Solo 2 Blue came back out in a force and took quite a few. It took the most PQs down this week, and it's kind of showing that it's still the answer me deck of the format, and it's just another part of the wheel of problems that, like, as Talzin has fallen out of relevance, Han Solo has spiked back up, and Restore has kind of made its way back up. So all the Boba Fetts, as Steven predicted last week, are, they have to now deal with, the turn 1 Yaddle into the turn 2 Yoda into the turn 3 Itinerant Warrior or Kiadi, where they can just kind of rebuild a board on Restore alone. So like 25 8 HP is like actually like 40 at the end of the day. It's crazy to see.
I don't disagree.
It's crazy to see to me that Boba still took 2 more PQs this weekend, even though it was like established last weekend. And it's another thing that people need to really, really consider when they go into their PQ. It's like, how much practice and how much game do I have into this deck?
I think it's one of those, just another interesting situation of, you could play against the Boba Data Vault pretty regularly and feel completely unthreatened by it. But like when you run into that, comparatively, that Kira Data Vault player that just knows like the deck in and out, you're
Yeah.
just gonna be surprised at how different it feels playing against it. So
Yeah. The we are, as we've probably said several times, since still just kind of in matchup roulette mode, where it's like these PQs are built on local metas and kind of people guessing their hedges. So it's really the wild, wild west. There's no probably resemblance of what this chart looks like would only take place if you were to go to a sector tomorrow to like see that kind of consistency. But even then, I don't know.
Well, I mean, what I would say is I'd say we should look at the top 8 breakdowns, because I would argue that the top 8 breakdown is going to be more representative of the meta at large than the winners. Because if we, the top 8 is probably the same skill level of player as the winner for the most part, within a fraction or so or whatever, but we get to see 8 times the data.
Mm-hmm. All right.
And then if we look at that, though, what's really interesting about that is we're saying, oh, Han's back, Han's doing all this stuff, but he actually is not. Like, there's double the Quinlins in the top 8 that there are Hans.
Yeah.
They just didn't win. But more Bobas, more Cad Banes.
I mean,
way more Tarkin Town decks.
If you ask me what I think the best deck in the current metagame is, I'd tell you it's Quinlan right now.
Me too. Yeah, for sure.
It's this be prepared, because like that's probably the best ground deck in the game at the moment. They're on curve ground deck that will put the most amount of pressure on both your hand and your board. And
I would agree.
Just be prepared.
And it's literally the epitome of like, I'm going to play into the 50-50 matchup and win it because I just know the matchup, or I'm better than you.
Yeah.
And that's why, and you're just going to get rewarded if you know the deck, and the decks that you're poor into, you either hopefully dodge. I mean, it could be, we saw a resurgence of Sabine, right? So Sabine has historically been pretty good into Quinlan. So maybe we see that fall down a little bit. But I mean, Mother Talzin's still has seen a little bit. Or I'm trying to remember. Is Talzin good into Quinlan? I'm trying to remember now.
That would be
I will tell you
I might
right
be confusing it. I might be confusing that with something else.
that
no.
sounds like a.
It is not. Okay, see, there you go. I think I was just confusing it with Han too. I think I just is where I got it.
50. So Quinlan has a 53% win rate into Talzin, and he has a into Han too. He has a 52.5% win rate, and has just a lot of, like you said, a lot of 50-50s. Like there's not a lot of like common decks above the 50% mark or below the 50%, or I'm sorry, I apologize, above the 60% win rate or the 40%, right? Like those kind of break points. Because below 40%, you have like Anakin 30, Han 1 green, Kira Data Vault, which is interesting to me, and Yoda Data Vault. That's not being played, or nobody's playing Sabine Sabine Cunning. Not happening really. So, most of them are between 40 and 60 for this deck.
That's great. It's crazy to look at.
Tracks for Quinlan.
That Data Vault and Tarkin Town are 55% almost. Yeah, 55% of the meta's best performing lists in top 8, or at least like just what your top 8 should be looking like, basically. It's crazy.
Yeah, I thought that was really interesting too.
It'll be curious after rotation how many rare bases are still played that aren't Data Vault.
Yeah, that one. maybe Colossus will find its way. I would hope, but it would have to find a leader that goes well with it. Like,
Right.
but
But then you have the difficulty of like if you're playing a blue Colossus base, like usually those are your more hard control, and a lot of the time, guess what? Data Vault's just going to be a better hard control.
Yeah, I could see. I mean, we're projecting like 2 sets into the future, but like, if Force has any other relevance in like, Shatterpoint style cards, like use the Force, then I could definitely see like Avar finding a place in like Colossus at that time. But I also think that some of these pilots are going to be around for the next 2 years, and there's nothing we're going to be able to do about it. Like Kazuda and Han and Poe, they're all
what
going to be
happens
crazy.
when Bamboozle rotates?
It's
and
true.
Confiscate.
Confiscate.
And Power Failure.
Although, was Confiscate reprinted?
No,
I don't think so.
not in Confiscate is not.
No, Disabling Fang was.
It was, but not in sets. It was reprinted in. It was either 2 or 3, but it is not in.
Are you sure?
I think it was in set 2. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was set 4.
We've had very few cards be fully reprinted, and I'll take us off.
Yeah, just
of
like
this
Surprise Strike,
page.
for example, was only reprinted in set 2.
There we go.
I think it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, Fang Fighter was set 1 and 2. Fang Fighter was set 1 and 2. Surprise Strike and maybe Waylay was set 1 and 2. Yeah, Surprise Strike was set 1 and 2.
Wampa was reprinted this set. 4 or 5 with
Confiscate
Overwhelm.
was set 1 and 2.
That's actually huge for the meta.
Yeah.
That's critical. You should be putting Wampa in all of your red decks.
Pounce.
I mean, honestly, I didn't even realize it was a 4/5. I thought it was a 4/4.
I think it's a 4/5. I don't know.
No, it is a 4. I'm looking at it right now.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
In my head, I'm like, I always thought this was a 4/4.
I've got a stack of them that I just don't want to throw away, but I probably should.
He keeps Wampas on his desk, actually. That's how important they are to him. I mean, they're just right there next to the picture of his wife.
Yep.
Just waiting to throw them up on TCG Player when they're...
Yep.
Yeah,
I've bought out all the hyperspaces. This is a investing channel now. Yeah. So with what we've kind of talked about, what do you guys think is the next this next upcoming week's worth of PQs? Also, there was the limited PQ that was really kind of cool. It ended with a Snoke Blue taking it down. So, I was watching that tournament went for a very long day. We had 2 of the OA guys go up there. We had Dylan and John make it out. I don't know what their records were at the end of it.
In Chicago?
Yes. So you could probably find them on there, but I think Dylan got 30th. Probably just missed it, or was like 1 full win and some change short, but pretty cool.
He got 32nd.
32nd, okay. 1 win might have
bubbled right out of 31st.
Oof.
Because he went, he went 4 and 3, and 5 and 2 was 26 to 9th. So like 9th to 26th was like all X2.
Okay. Yeah, I would love to do a limited PQ, and I think that whenever I make it to the next regional, hopefully, fingers crossed, I'd like to get there early to do the day of, like the day 1 regional limited, and then do the day, assuming I don't do well enough, do the actual Premier limited. But I think we also get a limited PQ, or not PQ, a limited sector. Is that the Portland? No, that's the other one.
That's Philadelphia. That's the Philadelphia one that Daniel wants to go to, and I'm considering going to. It's like, what, that first weekend of November, right?
You all were talking about driving. Are you actually...
Daniel talked about driving, and then I was like, oh, are we driving? Oh no.
That is...
but that's assuming I can even go still, because I don't know if I can even go anymore. Because if it's that second week of November, which I think it might be, I can't go.
Oh. Yeah, I won't be making it to either of those, unfortunately. But if I were to go, I would fly. I know it's more expensive. I understand. I have driven to Philly for a card game.
What? Yeah, no.
It's too far. I fell
Not
asleep
doing
behind the wheel doing that. That was
I'm
not
doing
good.
that.
Right, it's
I'm not
second
doing
weekend
that.
of October.
Oh, okay. So
Thought it was November.
we're looking about 6 months out or 6 weeks out.
Yeah,
Okay.
I could maybe.
Although there is some really good food in Philly. So,
Never been.
yeah.
Me
you can
neither.
get the original Philly cheesesteak with some cheese whiz on it.
Oh yeah.
I hear that
It's in the name.
I'm gonna be.
Yeah.
This is probably controversial, but from what I hear, the Philly cheesesteak is just like overhyped.
That's fair, but you also have to do it while you're there. That's how I
fair.
see those kinds of things.
That's fair. That is absolutely fair.
What if
So.
I can't eat it?
Oh, can you eat cheese whiz?
Just have a Philly steak.
Yeah. Okay.
Can we
Just
make
have
you
the
a
Philly
Philly
steak.
cheese bowl?
Yeah,
No.
or I mean, they've got to have a gluten-free bread of some sort. I'll bring
Just
my
bring
own.
your own
Fuck
sourdough.
it.
Fair.
Whatever. Yeah.
Just here's some sourdough.
Bring
Can
my
you
own.
put some Philly on this?
Yeah. Philly's pretty cool. I went to the I was probably a block away from the Liberty Bell, and I just didn't go, and I've regretted it probably ever since. So
Yeah, I gotta be careful not to pack any Chiefs stuff.
Huh.
You poor thing.
Football.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me
Back-
riddle you guys this.
Okay.
What do you think of an entire sector being dedicated to limited? What are your thoughts? I have thoughts, which I will share in a moment. But what are your thoughts?
I think it's cool. I think it's fine. I think
You say an entire sector? Are you talking about the whole premiere event, the whole
that whole weekend
main event, or are you talking everything, including side events, is only limited?
Oh
No, just like
yeah,
the
just
main
The
event.
main event.
There's no premiere piece or part to the main event at all. Like you're not going for a premiere tournament. You're going for a limited tournament, side events, or whatever.
Okay,
But
that's probably, I don't know. I'm kind of indifferent.
It's unfortunate. So the way I look at most of these events now is just because like we're in the Midwest. Nothing's actually close other than 7 hours at least. So we have to either fly or drive at our convenience. So I don't really care what the event is. But like if I lived in that area, like Philly, and then they said this one's limited and I don't want to play limited, then I would be upset. But if yeah, that's just I think it's a location thing in my head. How do you feel?
that's a valid perspective. I think you're making me rethink my stance, but I don't care for it.
That's fair.
Personally, I don't
That's
like it.
fair.
I'm not a limited guy, but also it was just a little bit of a bummer. I was like, oh, I can go to that. Like I could go to that one. That one I can probably make that. And then I saw it was just limited only, and it was like, oh, never mind. I'm not interested.
That's fair.
I don't want to spend the money to go on a flight for this. And I don't know the level of interest in limited for the community as a whole, right? So like that, I'm not obviously representative of the whole, but if my worry is that if limited is less of an interest for the SWU community compared to Premier, competitive limited compared to competitive Premier, if it's less of an interest overall, they're going to get less attendance for an entire sector, which makes me a little nervous.
Unfortunately, so like because I agree with you. If the attendance is lower, then that would be a concern. But I'm also like, I can't use this sector for that vision in my head, just because they've given us so little time to like prepare and be ready and be out there.
That's a good point. Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know, October is just a busy month for me in general. So it's hard to be like, yeah, even if I could make it, the format wouldn't bother me. So it's kind of on them at the moment to like do better in the future, like especially if this is how it's going to go every set release. That would be nice if we knew a little bit further out in advance for sure. But yeah,
like to your point, Adam, I don't think it's necessarily going to negatively impact anybody who's there locally
Mm.
because um,
They should still go,
I
in my
think it is a
opinion. Yeah.
very right. It's like, oh, there's a Star Wars event going on.
I
I
would.
think you'd enjoy yourself regardless. It's in your own city. Like, like why wouldn't you go?
Oh,
Yeah.
Kind of
totally.
thing.
Even if you don't play in the main event.
Right.
Yeah.
You
If I lived like an hour or two away, sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I'd be there
Right.
in a
I mean,
heartbeat. Why
even
not?
then, I can like maybe understand because it's like, oh, well, I gotta. If even if you live an hour or two away, I'm like, you probably don't want to make that drive every day on a multi-day event. So it's like you're still doing a hotel, which
Mhm.
can add up, I suppose. But like, yeah, if you're having to travel for it, it's like if you're going and you're like, well, I want to go to the sector, I want to perform, but it's like because right now we have what, one in Philadelphia, one in Portland. Like, why
Yeah.
wouldn't you just go to the one in Like, wait to go to the one in Portland like if you're
Right.
available both weekends and you're like, I'm gonna go to one.
If you have the option. Yeah.
Yeah, if you have the
Yeah.
option, it's like, I mean, cost wise, I assume it'll probably be very similar to go to either one. Um, I could be wrong. I mean, obviously, where you live could play a factor with flights or whatever, but um,
Both very large airports, but also,
yeah.
Totally agree.
it's like I said, I think the location has always been like the biggest part to me. As I've gotten older, it's been easier to start to just fly to places, which is nice, but also still another, thing to account for when wanting to ask the wife for permission to go. So,
and and like you said, Adam, if the turnout's low, I wouldn't necessarily make it a big issue on that nobody wants to play limited. It could, like you said, also be, well, what was the turnout because of how soon people had to make plans? Alternatively, how does that compare to Portland? Because maybe you have a bunch of people like from the New York area that I don't know how far New York is from Philly. It's not that long of a drive, to my understanding, but
yeah,
um,
unless
but
you're heading
like,
down south, you're probably within like 2 hours. I'm assuming 3 hours.
okay, see, like that, I would expect a lot of New York people to go down there. But the other thing too is like limited really isn't like a main component of the game yet. It just kind of hasn't that facet hasn't been built up.
Mm-hmm.
So it's definitely something they'll have to build up, and as it becomes more of a component of the game, then I'm sure you'll see it. And I think a lot more players that are like, well, I'm actually almost, I'm not gonna necessarily do well in a premier event. Maybe I'll try it out with limited, right? Um, just
Yeah,
different skill sets
some
kind of
people
thing.
really like that kind
Yeah.
of like it is totally, it's not like a lesser or more, I mean, it's just a different access of skill
Mm-hmm.
and like of
Yeah.
skill expression, and some people really like that, and I think that's awesome. I mean, it's just not my jam, but um I think it's great. And yeah, and, I would hope that a lot of people who feel that way would
Yeah.
be inclined to go, and that it does take off, because I like limited as like a I like the inclusion of limited as an idea,
Mm-hmm.
but
The the only counter argument I have, like actual data point I could state, is that the 2 limited PQs we've seen so far, two or three, I think it's
two, I
2, have
think.
both
I
been
think it's
like
two.
maxed out at like 124 players.
Well,
Okay,
yeah, the
So
one this weekend was
that's
128.
cool.
There was one.
yeah,
Where was it? It was in Rochester, New York. There were 72. I think those are the
okay.
only two, unless
I think there was one a
there was
couple
a
weeks
European
ago.
one. Well, because the one in Rochester was the ninth.
Is that the one with 3,000s in the top 8?
Yes.
Okay, so I lied.
But I
uh,
mean, 72
but
for a
yeah,
PQ
yeah,
isn't small, right? I
No,
would say
yeah.
that's
no,
like
no, no.
No.
that's like typically about the size that you would want to see and respect at minimum, right? I think usually in
Yeah.
that 65 to 75 range, you're like, okay, that's a pretty solid
Yeah.
Yeah,
PQ. More than that, you're like, okay, this was a pretty big
right. Like this is
PQ.
Yeah.
popping. Yeah,
Yeah.
Um,
totally.
to roll us back over into what we were talking about, though, what do you guys think will be these next PQ weeks results? Do you? I think that Sabine is something we're kind of sleeping on. It did pull.
That's what I was gonna say.
It did pull 3 wins, and no one's still talking about it. It's like,
Yeah.
it's just
I think
here.
no one's talking about it though because they know it's here and they're just like everyone knows it's like, oh yeah, Sabine, Sabine's so good, you know, Sabine this, Sabine, and it's like even if it doesn't win, everyone is threatened by Sabine in some fashion. So as soon as they see it, there's like, oh well, yeah, it's Sabine. You know, I'm not surprised that they won.
No, that's yeah, exactly. It's but also like this would be, I feel like, the week to either. I guess it depends, you know, like, will the Talzins come back to fight the Hans? Will the Tarkin Towns deck to also come back to like fight the Hans, so that the Sabine players can just cruise on through? Because I think that's what they did to, like, the Sabines must have fought the Quinlans this week to bring the Hans, or to allow the Hans to close out these games. And even then, Sabine's still just absolutely crushing it. So.
Let's see. So if we look at Sabine PCL real quick, and we look at the matchups here, how's it do into Quinlan? 54%, and into Han 44%.
Okay.
So yeah, you're right on.
That
personally, I don't see a significant change in the into next week.
No,
I think it'll, like, I think you'll see a more normalization again. Like, I don't think 4 Han 2s are going to win, but I could totally see 1 or 2 probably continuing to win. Probably a single Quinlan with decent conversion. I don't, you know, I think it'll just be a little bit more spread out again. Just because I can totally foresee a little bit more Han 2 coming out. I don't know that people are going to be sold yet on Talzin being a good meta call again. I think they're going to be a little hesitant for that for another week, at least in my opinion. So I kind of just see the numbers kind of normalizing or just staying relatively the same. No breakouts, at least in my opinion.
I could see that being 100% correct, but I could also just, like, we could see 0 Han 2s get wins this next weekend. That's why the meta feels so wide that, you know, that little bit of focus on hedging really isn't that impactful unless you're like I could memorize the 30 players in our local area and then side there, but like, is that even worth it if I run into 4 of my worst matchups in those 30? You know, my tournament's just over within round like 3. But yeah, it is very interesting because I could think that this was week 4, so at some point we could draw a line in the sand and be like, in this time span, this is what you could have expected, and your like percentage base of the decks at a tournament being, you know, 10% of the decks you see should be Han 2 blue, or, you know, X. It's not too hard to guess and then relay that to some other resources. But yeah, Michael?
I think I agree that I don't know that it's going to shift that much. I think, like, again, looking at the top 8, I think it's a pretty good representation of what we'll see next week with a lot of Quinlan, a lot of Boba. The Cad Bane surprises me. I feel like it'll probably be more Sabine. And I would suspect, though, that with Han getting the most wins this week, that there may be a little more Han hate, and then he may go down. I wouldn't expect him to like be out of the top 8 representation, but I wonder if he won't win this coming week, like, you know, like was just said.
The deck is so good, it could still brute force its way through. So
definitely. But it's also shown too that when people hate it out, it seems to get just there, but not quite.
Yeah.
I think the other thing too is like the reason that it wasn't performing nearly as much is because it was a testament to Han 2 is still the deck to beat, and I feel like that's true to an extent, but you're not nobody's going into the event and being like 10 to 15% of this is going to be Han 2, or they can't reliably make that assumption. And I feel like Han 2 just has a pretty good matchup into like the feel. It's almost kind of like a Quinlan in the sense of I don't think the deck is as hard to play. I think it plays itself a little bit easier, but I think
Agreed.
the it can beat just about everything. Like unless you run into Towson, probably where you're going to get crushed. I'm trying to think of other really bad matchups.
Kylo.
I think
Kylo
all your
Tarkentown.
other okay, Kylo Tarkentown. Then like outside of those, I mean you probably can have a pretty easy tournament getting through everything. And I think the other thing too is I don't know which is worse, Towson or Kylo, but like I mean, how many really good Kylo players are you going to run into?
Exactly.
Right, I would agree.
So
That deck is
so
not
I
easy to
think
play.
I think if you're playing against somebody that has picked up the deck after Worlds, if they're not like a Botha Network guy, I would almost probably lean towards assuming that the Han 2 player probably can win.
Yep.
Because
I
I mean
would agree.
because I don't know how have the stats normalized since Worlds, right? Have we seen a significant decrease in the win rate of Kylo Tarkentown into Han 2 just because non-Botha Network players are playing it?
I don't feel
Kylo's win rate in general has definitely gone down. Like overall win rate has gone down.
Mm-hmm.
But, no.
No,
It's
yeah.
currently the win rate into Kylo Tarkentown for Han to Blue Force is 28%.
The Bothan
Like,
guys
can we
have
compare it to like previous like weeks? Is there a way to identify it like week to week potentially, or no? Because I'm just curious. Like, was it like 17% after Worlds, and now it's like gone up
Yeah,
10%?
it's a good question. No, I don't have that filter yet, but mental note. That will be a
So
filter.
that's kind of just the consideration. But like, obviously, 28% is really bad. But
Mhm.
you know, if it was really that bad, and considering how many matchups probably got played for that at Worlds, how much is it? In my opinion, over the last 4 weeks, I guess a 10% swing in favor of Han 2 seems like a pretty big indicator that you know your your average Kylo Tarkentown player is not to the same level, and just it's normalizing. So if it like gets to that 35 to 40% range, then I'm like, well,
It's a good indication. Yeah.
as someone who's been putting all of their rep time in with Kylo Tarkentown, the deck is an absolute pain to learn with. I know I said it last week, but it is very satisfying to close out games with like, this 10, 11, 13 gigantic like Kylo that just two shots their base. It doesn't always happen because you have to still play the game most of the time. But that skill expression that the Bothans have with all the reps they put in before Worlds has definitely carried them to. They basically take down one PQ every week, and
it does seem that way. Yeah,
and it's kind of spooky that even with a meta that is teching for them, like just about most of the competitive decks are running two parliamentarians on the side to just make sure that these decks don't get to have just a game 1 and game 2 advantage.
Let's see here. So this week, Soldak won. Was the winner with Kylo Tarkentown? Is that a Botha guy?
That's Frank.
That's Frank from Botha Network. Yeah.
Yep. Perfect. So there you go.
Yeah, the Bothan.
Yeah, right. There you are.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy that they keep doing it, and I would love to obviously continue seeing them do that because honestly the deck is a joy.
And did you say the win rate of Han 2 into Kylo was 20-something%?
Mm-hmm.
They built it is specifically a Han 2 hate deck.
I'm looking at it, and I'm showing that it has a 66% win rate, or Kylo has a 66% win rate, so it's almost approaching 35% from what I'm seeing.
Okay.
I mean, again, I'm just looking at the archetype in general. I don't know if you were, but so like, okay, 35%. I think some of that has probably normalized to an extent. So
Yeah.
I don't know how much more it'll normalize, but
Yeah. I'm not sure.
But you know, I think we kind of got our points out for what we were uh wanting to predict for next week. Not much change, some Sabine growth, maybe some Han hate coming back in. There's really, this is what the PQ season is all about. It's looking forward and taking what you learned this week and applying it to the next, and kind of just making sure that you're staying concurrent, I guess, is how the game is built. So, which I really enjoy, like just overall, and I'm always more than happy to continue talking about it. But we're gonna roll into the last topic. I'll just say it now, just because like there's a lot of people who this. We're gonna talk about non-Star Wars stuff, or Star Wars Unlimited. How about that? Just because like this is a competitive game for those who want it to be, and B, I love trading card games because they send all the little drum signals off in my brain like a little monkey that I'm doing the things I like to do. But every once in a while, you can't let that be the only thing that's keeping you going, or else you're just gonna break your drum set in your brain.
Hey, drum sets are notoriously difficult to break, though.
That is fair. They're also very expensive.
Also very fair.
Yeah.
It's funny that you mentioned that too, because like with card games and the possibility of getting it stale, like one of the things that you're constantly doing is like, what can I do to gain an advantage, right? What can I do in order to like have an advantage over everyone else? And like in potentially a meta like this, where you're like, it is so like all over the place, right? It's like on any given week, if I make a bad meta call, I could just wash out, or I could do really, really well. And it's like at that point, you're like, man, it feels like I'm just gambling now. Like, like it feels like I'm just gambling, and it's like it's either going to go really well or it's going to go really bad, and that's the point for me where I can start feeling like a little burnt out of like I don't know what more to do to try and gain an advantage other than just okay, I'm going to pick this deck and I'm going to run 100 games, like
reps.
And the other element of it too is like I can't feasibly I shouldn't say can't, but I don't feasibly play that many games in like person, and I want to play those games in person, right?
Yeah.
So,
and that's just
same here. Yeah,
we've talked about like physical practice is always so very important, especially with like very strategic decks. So it
really is. Yeah, it's weirdly different than online play. Or any
I
other
don't think it's different
play,
at all from a psychological perspective. It's just actually doing something and doing something in a motion, like doing the motion of something just builds like the muscle memory. And I know you're like, oh well, I mean, like you're just moving cards around and such, but it's like it is actually different.
Yeah,
it is from a psychological perspective.
Kylo's rummage is something that I always have to like. Sometimes I have to remind myself in person, like I do draw the card because it. It happens.
It doesn't just appear in your hand.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, lately, like you said, Steven, it's basically just gambling it to some extent. You being best prepared for your deck and best practice is always important. But what do you guys do when you don't want to be thinking or doing anything Star Wars Unlimited? Like, and for anybody who's made it this far, awesome. Thank you so much. We really, really appreciate it. We are going to probably subvert a little bit off of Star Wars Unlimited, but it's basically to talk about, how to keep our heads competitive rather than our,
how to not burn out, right?
Yeah. Like we started the episode with League and WoW. We can jump back. So
yeah, that Lee Sin game though.
Yeah.
But yeah, how to not burn out though, I think is actually a question because you can. I've before Worlds,
it happens easy.
Yeah. Before Worlds, I had a moment where I was like, hold on, okay, I'm just getting pissed off every time I'm playing. I just need to not not do this for like a few days before we leave. So I think I didn't play games at all for a week before Worlds. I think it was just because I noticed myself just like overdoing it. And I was like, I'm gonna get frustrated with the game, and that's not fun. This is supposed to be a hobby and fun, right? Like that's the point. So I just need to like not play for a minute, and it was perfect. It was like the perfect thing to do because as soon as we got to Vegas, I was hyped and ready to jam games and like, yeah.
It's hard to do that. Yeah, it's hard to do that though too, because like sometimes you just want to be performance oriented mindset, and then you know, like when you're not that way, it's like, are my expectations too high? But you know, like taking the break is so important. Like I think I've talked with you guys about it, but I build Gunpla, like Gunpla models or Gundam models. It's just a, you know, like a physical stress relieving thing I like to do. I look at other TCGs occasionally. I try to find video games to play. I know I mentioned to you guys in the before we went live, but I started Star Wars: The Force Unleashed because I had never played it, and I was like, this sounds like, you know, then I'm at least like in the IP and still doing stuff.
As a way,
yeah,
as a way to get away from the Star Wars trading card game, I am going to Star Wars video game.
It's true. I've heard nothing but good stuff about it. So I and maybe
The Force Unleashed, it's awesome.
Yeah, and maybe one day they'll put Starkiller in. Who knows? So
yeah, so I don't know where, I don't remember where I heard this, but I know a few people said that they had heard it too, that they were Starkiller was maybe supposed to be in Ahsoka in the next Ahsoka season.
Don't do this. I've only just started the game, so
I don't know if that's true or complete bullshit, but I heard it and was like, so that means there's going to be a Starkiller leader, and that means that I am never going to play a different deck than that.
Here's the thing, though. Yeah. Here's the thing, though. Like, maybe my opinion of Starkiller is unpopular. Like, in a vacuum, Starkiller is awesome. In the larger Star Wars universe, Starkiller defeats Star Wars.
Yeah.
Like, he's just too OP. Like, it just ruins the rest of the story. And that's my gripe. That's my gripe with Starkiller. And so when I hear he's going to be in Ahsoka, I'm going to be like, okay, well, he can be somebody that you call Starkiller, but he cannot be Force Unleashed Starkiller.
No,
unless they literally, like, unless Starkiller for some odd reason is like, I mean, I'm maybe getting into like potentially Clone Wars spoiler territory. Like, unless he's like a Force like god or spirit that's not like
one
an
of the Mortis gods.
person. Yeah, or maybe Starkiller is actually just their version of Abeloth now.
Oh my god. All right, we're deep diving. Okay.
Yeah, like right. So like in that scenario, I'd be like, okay, but like if he's just a generic like guy, or you know, that was born to sensitive people, I'm like, to me it just ruins a lot of what Star Wars is.
Okay, I want to say this now.
I get that.
Real quick. If you have made it this far, please put Abeloth in the comments. I want to see at least like 3 of those. And Abelo, I don't remember how to spell it. If you know what Abeloth is, you probably know how to spell it. That's how deep we are. Okay, continue. I haven't heard that in so long. Oh man.
Okay, so here's my thing. How is that different than them putting Revan into potentially putting Revan into canon? I'm not, because I know he's not really like, he's like mentioned lightly or whatever, but like, wouldn't that kind of be the same effect?
It's different because it's a different era, so you can still keep them separate, and you don't have a direct comparison. You have a theoretical comparison.
That's fair.
Because it's like the same. It's like comparing the prequels to the original trilogy, and it's like, well, why are the lightsaber fights in the original trilogy so like
redonkulous,
worse than in the prequel trilogy? And it's like, okay, you just kind of have to understand the difference in time. It's not like what you're seeing is not actually what the representation is. Right? But like when you input Starkiller, and it's like, yeah, no, Starkiller is actively like beating up Darth Vader and kills Luke Skywalker, and you know, and it's like, no. But like in Revan, it's like as George Lucas says, when he's telling the story, it rhymes, and it's like, well, you can have this Revan character who is kind of like this, almost predecessor to the chosen one in a sense,
Right,
right?
right, right.
And
Kind of like the
it
pre-Vader.
mirrors him. It mirrors him,
Yeah.
but like, and you can do all this cool stuff, make the Old Republic seem so strong or so powerful and whatnot, but it doesn't like take away or disillusion you from, disillusion you from
Yeah.
how strong characters are later in. It's not necessarily that they're getting weaker. We're just kind of seeing a separate interpretation or just like a different artistic element.
I've
I mean,
done.
I don't
Oh,
know, man. I feel like we could just, if they put him in, just make him as strong as Vader. Just make him Vader levels of strong-ish. Maybe not as
Yeah.
strong, but like in the vein of. I mean, he was Vader's apprentice, right? That's
Yeah.
the whole idea.
mhm.
Maybe not like crazy Vader levels of rip the ship out of the sky and
Oh, he does
whatever,
that.
but
Yeah.
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 Yeah, I mean, again, like I don't mind it, but I'm just like the Star Killer. When someone says Star Killer, you have a very particular vision in mind, and if they say we're putting in Star Killer, I'm going to be like, please do not like do that Star Killer, right?
Yeah,
You can
yeah,
do
yeah.
any
Yeah.
Star
The one
Killer, but
that's
then
like
you also have
insanity.
people where
Yeah.
you're like, why is he so weak in the real
That's
adaptation? And
yeah.
it's like, come on, guys, like
You have to. Yeah.
really?
You're.
Right.
What if, or like, it's like the Marvel what if characters. It's like, Ascended Ultron, where he has all the Infinity Stones, is like, or the
Right.
Supreme. Oh my gosh.
Uh, Sorcerer Supreme.
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
yes. Like where he's
Yeah, yeah.
Sorcerer Supreme with all the Infinity Stones, and it's like, yeah, he's unbeatable. Like there's
Right.
no. We're not talking about anything here. We can't.
Well, I mean, there's a reason like they killed off the Flash in the comics at one point
Yeah.
because he could literally slingshot himself to different planets by running fast enough and shit like that. Like you
Through
can't
time. Yeah.
you can't like what do you do? Yeah, like
Yeah.
there's no problem that he can't solve. So in the TV show, he can't go back and just like, oh, I'm gonna just go fix that, run back in time, done, fixed it, problem solved. Like he, in the comics, he can be in multiple places at a time around the world and doing multiple things at once. And so like similar thing, right? You like they can't go that far because you just can't make it.
Yeah.
You just put the show that said he won.
Yeah. I am
Right.
only probably about an
You
hour
have
and a
you have
half.
the credit scene of Star Wars, right? You have those funny
Yeah.
scenes where it's like, hey Mace, I want to go kill the Chancellor with you. Yeah, sure. Oh, you can't kill him. Well, how about this? You let me kill him, and I know about this thing with you and Padme. You can just stay married to her to be like, okay, cool, yeah, you can kill him.
Yeah.
Star Wars.
Get him out of here. Fuck him.
Yeah. End scene. I've only made it about an hour and a half through The Force Unleashed 1. So I bought the deluxe versions of both like forever ago on some Steam sale. So it wasn't a high investment, but I'm excited to get to at least
Still like him.
Yeah, I had no idea it was like truly like a point scoring game where you're just trying to brutally destroy everything as much as possible, which is super fun. So I just assumed it was like a kind of like a guided playthrough of a Star Wars game. It definitely looks
it kind of is. It's like both.
That's fair. It definitely looks like a game from the 2010 era, but
yeah,
you know what? I appreciate it for all that it's worth right now.
It's cool because it has like two ending paths, which are cool. And then I won't spoil, but you can like there's some story to it that it's not like the most in-depth story Star Wars game by any means, but
I don't know if any of them really are. I'm going to be honest.
it
but
has some. I mean, what like Coder, right?
I know a little bit about it. I've heard from Steven basically what happens. So
I would say that's probably the most story or SWOTR. Just the Old Republic stuff is probably the most story oriented.
Some depth.
Star Wars game. Yeah. I don't know though. I've not played Fallen Jedi or anything.
Yeah, I mean, I think the story mode in Battlefront 2 like has a lot of potential. Like it's not like super in depth, but it's a pretty in-depth story that like opens you up to a lot of new things even if you don't necessarily see all the elements.
I did watch a bunch of that. I watched just about every cutscene from that game, put into one big long YouTube video with all of Operation Cinder and Aiden basically defacting from.
I was so like, I remember when we saw The Force Awakens and everyone were like, it's just a copycat, and I'm like, dude, they like the amount of stuff that they set up for this film is like crazy, and it's gonna be like A New Hope was like a cool, fun, good movie, right? But it was contained, and like that movie, like similar, but like it just opened the door up for what would happen after, and I was like, I feel like the how good this movie is, like how people feel about this movie is going to depend on how the next two films go. A lot more. And
that didn't go well.
It didn't go well. But
Oh.
I'm like, leading up into The Last Jedi, like all of the material that was coming out for it, like this is when I was like super high. I read every book that came out. I was like, oh, I have to watch or do the campaign for Battlefront 2, and all this sort of stuff, and be part of that too, because one of the big books leading into that was the Aftermath series, which because the Aftermath series talks a lot about the Battle of Jakku. Interesting. Jakku. Why would that be important? I wonder.
We have to go back.
So just a lot of little nuggets of like, oh well, I need to get all this backstory, and the Operation Cinder stuff was really cool. They gave us like a perfect portrayal of Luke Skywalker.
Yeah,
like that Luke Skywalker in that game was so beautifully done. Like, I chills.
he was the character you would hope he would have been in 7.
Yeah,
or 8, I guess technically, but
instead of the whiny dude who left because something went wrong, and so he's like, fuck it, I'm gonna live on an island forever.
Right. And see, like, a lot of people criticize that, and I'm like, hey, look, I am not completely opposed to having Luke be in that sort of setting, but here's the thing: you need to show me a lot more than what actually happened in order to convince me that he would give up. Like,
right.
Oh, you're telling me that he married Mara Jade and she got killed? Oh, and they had a son and he got killed, and like all this other. Okay, maybe I'll believe it then. But it's like, oh, I failed my student, my Jedi Order. Like, I mean, I guess you could argue my Jedi Order failed, so now I'm giving up. And it's like, okay, at least for what they say, show us, don't tell us. And it's like, what they showed us was like, okay, you had like a school of like 10 people, like. Okay, you barely there, bud.
Right, and for some reason, Kylo randomly goes to the dark side for no really well explained reason, and then Luke's like, "Damn it," and then he leaves. That was kind of like the vibe we got in the movie.
I mean, I know you get a little bit more information in some of the other content, like if you read the what is it, Bloodlines, which follows like Leia, like 7 or so years, I think, before The Force Awakens, 5 years, and so like she's still in the New Republic Senate and stuff. And like it's in that book that reveals that she's the daughter of Darth Vader. And guess what? Ben Solo did not know that at that time.
Huh?
So like the galaxy did not know it at that time either. Yeah, so it was like a little interesting in there. Yeah. So
that would be a little unsettling.
Yeah, right. Yeah, so you're like, you're the grandson of Darth Vader, and it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
And I guess it just wasn't thought about that Leia was the twin of Luke, or maybe it just wasn't like that common of knowledge. But like then it was, and I think I don't know if she gets kicked out, but like the entire galaxy opinion of her after that's revealed is like really, really low. I forget, and then she's like, hey, there's a threat of the First Order, and the New Republic's
that
like,
doesn't make a lot of sense to me, because wouldn't Ben Solo be like, yo, Uncle Luke, why didn't you tell me what, like, Uncle Luke, Uncle,
Yeah,
Darth
well,
Vader.
they
I
no
think
one
part of the thing is,
part of the galaxy. A huge part of all of it was that still no one understood who Vader was. You know,
yeah, they just
like
knew it was
Oh,
like this
true.
terrifying thing. Like,
Yeah,
oh,
Yeah.
that's
he was
true.
like he was the fist of the Emperor, right?
Yeah, the
The Emperor's
metal
fist,
fist.
or yeah,
Wrath?
the
No.
Emperor's fist. I'm
Yeah,
because
the
Mara
Emperor's
Jade in
Wrath is a
was
Soder thing.
yeah. So the Emperor's fist is Vader. The Emperor's hand was Mara Jade in her stuff, but um, yeah, it's just like I think Luke told people. I don't know to the extent, but the other thing too is it's like Luke is not broadcasting to the galaxy on a media level
No,
of
true.
like, oh yeah, Darth Vader was my father.
Yeah,
I
trust me,
overthrew
guys.
him and the Emperor,
Trust me,
but
bro.
like technically, yeah, I
Yeah.
overthrew them, but he actually came to back to the light side.
It was fine.
And people are gonna
Yeah.
be
Yeah,
like, well,
he said he was sorry.
I think I still like you because you're like the hero, but oh, I don't know about this other stuff. But then you have like Leia, who's like, oh yeah, she was the daughter of Darth Vader, and it's like, what?
Yeah,
So yeah,
they kissed,
Yeah.
but
Right.
wait, well,
yeah. And the other thing too is like, I don't think it's like, oh hey, this is Uncle Luke, or whatever. It doesn't get too into the nitty gritty of like what they actually told Ben, and for all he knows, like maybe he never asked, like, are you actually Leia's brother, or are you like figuratively my uncle?
hmm.
You know?
Maybe, yeah, that's a thing nowadays. Maybe that's a Star Wars thing too.
Yeah, you just don't know.
The
Yeah.
figurative uncle.
Oh man,
So outside of Star Wars, what are you guys
yeah,
doing?
yeah. Oh, wait a minute, wait a minute. I didn't. I figured out the topics. I didn't think this far ahead. Yeah. Yeah. I can show you what a Gundam looks like.
I was gonna say, well, I guess I can't see you, but while you can
No.
let me know when to stop talking. But like, I mean, outside of Star Wars, funnily enough, I do play Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, the gotcha game. So like, that's a little bit of Star Wars that I do somewhat in my free time. But I mean, aside from that, I just I feel like I'm a chameleon. I've got like at least three different groups of people that I regularly hang out with. I've got like my SWU group. I've got my more just regular friends that I hang out with in real life. And I do that multiple times a week. And then I've got like my online gaming group that some are, a lot of people are out of state, or I met online. Some, I still got other local people, but it's like targeted through or like the focus is doing stuff online, video games, whatever it may be. So yeah, it's just
Say
you know
my wife and I, we like to
staying.
watch Big Brother, so that's our 3 episodes a week tradition. But yeah, that and building some Gundams in my free time when I'm not playing with the dog. What about you, Michael?
Yeah, I got the dog right here. Come here, buddy.
Dogs are great. Dogs take time, but good time with
Yep.
dog is good time.
Yep. Dogs take time. I got dogs. I got a house to maintain.
Awful. Agreed.
Yeah. House. Yeah, I got my house, got my dog, got my wife. Thankfully, she plays Star Wars with me, so that helps. Then I also have, like a group of friends online who I've known forever, just in different states, and we play World of Warcraft or whatever other games.
Oh, I didn't
I
ask
build
you. I mean, I'm
the
sure you
Metastat
have.
site too.
What is your primary class, and favorite race? And wow,
That's a
you
tough question.
you've been around the block, so I'm sure you've got
Yeah.
maxed out a lot. But
Oh yeah, I've
you
played a lot of different stuff.
favorite
but-
expansion? How about that?
Oh, favorite expansion?
He has to
Wrath
say
of the
Burning.
Lich King or
Yeah.
Legion?
Whoa, not Burning Crusade.
Nope, not Burning Crusade.
Wow.
Yeah, Wrath or Legion for me probably. Legion had the most fun class design. It was my favorite I've ever played. I played a monk the entire time. And I have never had more fun on a class than in that expansion on class.
Didn't they just announce a new expansion?
Mm-hmm. They did, like 2 days ago or yesterday or something.
At Gamescom.
Yeah, yep, they did.
Okay.
I think it's going to be cool. But other than that, Rogue. I'm the douche who plays the rogue.
Oh, gotcha. That's fair. That's fair. I know a few rogues. If you're listening to this, Eric, not PQ, Eric, old friend Eric, if you're listening to this, I know you're out there. But, yeah. I'm sorry, I think. I don't know. Yeah. I hope you guys all enjoy things in your spare time, though. Like, card games, like I said, are wonderful. You know, they're such good community things. They're out of the house things. They're team building. They're exercises in learning, and like just overall, probably one of my favorite things ever. Like in my life, I wouldn't have done this for 15 to 20 years now if it didn't matter to me. But yeah, I encourage everyone to make sure that you do things that aren't just Star Wars Unlimited, because you want to make sure you enjoy something. Sometimes it has to have a longer shelf life by not always doing it. So, yeah. We're at like an hour 20. Did you guys have anything before we wrap it up this episode? We did say it was going to be a shorter one, so we're about 10 minutes.
I'm going to say nothing so that way we don't go on another tangent.
Yeah.
You know what? That's fair.
Sounds good.
I did poke the bear and ask about deep meta Star Wars stuff. So, yeah, we'll wrap it up from there, and we will see you guys all in the next one. So, goodbye.